Most effective system is the one that avoids what you know doesn't work for you. And that takes time to figure out. You're swapping between different realms like analog or digital, or trying to figure out a hybrid system, which is what I've dialed down to after all these years of trying different apps and systems and following different people's courses to just be more productive. I kind of went back to the basics, and it's been working, and it's been awesome. And I want to share my system, my hybrid system that helps me to journal, plan, and focus. So I've tried everything from Notion to Google Sheets to Craft Docs, and they're all great, and they're pretty, and they worked for a while, but they just didn't really serve me in the way that I was hoping to. And especially things like Notion, you end up building out your planner more than actually using it. And so I knew I could never try Notion. And anytime someone posted a beautiful template, I just had to tell myself, no, do not try it. You know better. Because anytime I use Notion, it just sucks my time. It sucks the life out of me and does not help me plan my life at all. So I stay away from things like Notion. All my friends know that I chased the next shiny new app and system, and it's kind of a running joke, but it's all right if you're in the same boat, because you're trying to figure out what works for you, and what doesn't work for you is what I think is what you're trying to figure out more than anything else. Because the more that you know what doesn't work for you, the more you'll be able to dial in your system. So for me, I tried paper planning, paper journaling. I bounced from that to digital planning, digitally journaling, and I was all hanging on convenience and simplicity and also longevity. I wanted it to last. I wanted it to be eternal. I wanted it to, my kids to know my password and log in and read all my journal entries. But one of the more recent sparks of idea that I had was that I didn't want my children to log in and read my writing, my text. I wanted them to open up my journals and feel the grooves of my pens and see all the ink splatters and the scribbles, to see when I was frustrated, and the long drawn out words when I was just dead tired. I want them to experience not just my words, but also my emotions. And that's really hard to capture on digital. Yeah, you can post photos, but it's even cooler when you insert a photo from the day and your kid can pick it up. So that's kind of what I have in mind when I'm journaling, is if I pass away, what's the point? I want my journals to kind of live on, and I want these stories to live on. And I think it really sparked when I went home recently and I found my dad's old pocketbook, and my father passed away about a decade ago. And I was reading through his old pocketbook and seeing him just writing a song that he heard on the radio, or writing some random lyrics he thought of for a song. It moved me. Like the whole world just stopped, and being able to have that meant a lot to me. And so that's when I went home and made the decision, I'm going to go back to paper. It means more. There's more of a connection. And I am writing for me, but I also am writing for my future self to look back on, to read. But I'm also reading for future legacies. And hopefully it sparks a generation of writers, of journalers. But paper planning doesn't really work best for me. I don't like talking to someone about a plan, and I gotta pull on my journal and flip through it. It's like, I'm not trying to cause a scene like that, and I just don't like that. I like being able to just pop up my phone, check my calendar, do I have anything there? Plus, events are always changing, they're rescheduling. I don't like erasing or crossing it off and moving, so that's why I just stick to planning. Anything that's like changeable or a running list, I use that in digital, and anything that's just kind of in the moment or for that day is paper for me. And paper planning for my day has been awesome, because I feel like writing your tasks really helps it to stick more. Like, I'm much more intentional. I used to use Apple reminders, and I would have weekly and daily routines, and those would just pile up because I'm not seeing them. But I had this idea of like, why not sit down and actually write what I'm gonna do that day and write the events out so that I am more intentional and then I can remember them throughout my day. And that's really been helping me a lot. So first I want to take you guys through my physical tools, my analog side, and then I'll go through my digital side, and then I'll just go through some accessories that help me bridge the things together. All right, starting with my pocketbook. This is the bullet journal pocketbook. It's a little bigger than a field note. I like this more than the field note because it lays flat better. It's a little bit more slim, a little bit wider, and it's got some cool numbered pages and some measurements on it, but I've modified it a little bit. I forgot where I saw this, but I use a paper clip. This is actually from a friend, Tim. Paperclip holds the page in place, so it's easy for you to just kind of pop it open to the day. That's great. You can paperclip some cards or notes from the day, whatever. And what's tight is you can also pin it flat, and it becomes like a flat book. So that's pretty awesome. I forgot where I saw this, but you make this pen loop out of tape somewhere on YouTube and just tape it on, and that's great to just kind of have a note, a pen there all the time, right? And I just took the back page, folded it, taped it to the bottom, and now it's a pocket, a little folder, a little sleeve, and this is just some stamps. If I see a postcard, I can send it out. So this is basically my system here. I just I write the day, January 3, Saturday, and I list boom, 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 boom. That morning I just write it out, or the night before it'll already have some things on there that I just had to move. If it is an important task, I'll draw the line out a little bit so I know that's what I'm focusing on right now. So like sermon, and if I don't get to it, then I move it to the right, and I like crossing it off when I'm done with something, and so that's been awesome. And then just planning the next day. I'm thinking about going forward, I'm going to leave the bottom open, and this is where I'll put like any quotes I heard from the day or any ideas or thoughts, and it'll be kind of cool to see those throughout the day. But I don't know if I'll do that because I don't want a bunch of blank pages where I didn't find any cool quotes or something. So it's just kind of hard to add it to that day. So that's the pocket book, and this goes with me everywhere, and yeah, I love it. This is my journal. I have one journal to rule them all, and this is from Bullet Journal. I was hesitant in going with something so branded for bullet journaling because I don't like bullet journaling. Bullet journaling to me is like Notion on paper. I spend more time setting it up than actually using it. So I was hesitant at first, but it's actually been great. So this is my journal. And what I love about the pocket journal and the journal is you can't see them on the camera, but there's these grid lines. And there's like measurements where it's like a couple dots more, and you can just have these easy grid marks where you can just draw a line and segment your pages. But this is a simple journal. This is, I guess you could say, this is what I use for my reflection and my intentions. I just write, January 1, Thursday, January, and I put the time. I like to log the time. And I just keep that for the whole day. And if I add another entry, I just put the time. If I add anything in that day, I just add the time and keep it onto that line. And some days I write more, some days I write less. But every morning after I pray, I'll write up morning pages. I don't write 3 pages. I just brain dump. I just set my intentions for the day, and I also like to reflect on the day before. What are things that I noticed? And this is my Rhodia dot pad. This is what I just take notes on. I use the paper clip as well, just to be able to pop open the page quickly. This is just notepad, you know. I love it because it just doesn't take up a lot of space on the desk. It's just right next to my Bible, right? You know, it just looks clean. And if I don't have a desk, then, you know, just this in hand is so much easier to write on and flip through. So I love Rhodia paper because this, I think it's Clairefontaine paper. It's great quality, it's thick, and every page is perforated so I can tear it out and give the notes to someone. So that's my daily just notebook. So I got a pocketbook, notebook, and a journal, and that's it. And also in my journal, I also am planning to just any sketches that I do. So like this was last year, but like some doodles that I'll do. There's some doodles. I'll just draw, you know, for watching you, whatever that means. So yeah, I like Midori paper as well, MD, but I wanted something with more structure. But these are great too. Just simple, basic, no rules, no frills. Get it down and write. So these are great too. I do have one of these on deck just to like mess around with. Like, where is it? Yeah, like I check out all my inks and whatnot. But here's my accessories now. Some, let's see, what do we got here? I just got some simple brush markers for my sketching, just watery brush markers. I've also filled this one up with a brown ink, and this is a bit thicker, but I'm kind of sticking to earthy sepia tones, as you can see. But let's talk fountain pens. So the very first pen I really liked was the LAMY Safari. They're about $35. But these are really cool pens. I really loved this grip. It really kind of helped me with my, I don't know, my writing. It really did. It's light, but I just don't like how big they get when you post them up. When you post them up, I don't like how big they get. And after trying more pens, they're not as smooth as other pens when you write. I thought I liked the scratchier, tactile feel when writing, but after using this and seeing how smooth it was when I wrote, I was like blown away. I mean, it is like smooth. Another budget pen that is under the price point of a LAMY is the Pilot Metropolitan. These are great pens. The nib is really smooth, and I would recommend getting something a little more than the fine. Even the medium would probably be like a fine in American. I believe these are Japanese. Japanese fine run a lot more fine than we're used to. After that, the Hongdian is another brand. I believe it's a Chinese brand. They're super cheap pens, but they're solid builds. I mean, if you're just trying to get into fountain pens and you want a decent pen, Hongdian is the way to go. This is something that new that they've made. This is my pen for the year, and it's got like a brassy feel to it, but these are sweet. So there you go. But my favorite pen, to be honest, are these Preppies, man. These Platinum Preppies. These are like $5. And the medium, I believe it's the 03. These just write so smoothly, and they're just solid builds. And I love that this cap system, it keeps you from drying out your ink. So honestly, these are my favorite. I would have like a million of these, and you know, they're just solid. They're beautiful. This is what I have attached to my pocketbook in the EF Extra Fine 02. and it writes really fine. That's what I got here. These are fun to sketch with, and if you do plan to do sketching, you do want to get the carbon ink. These are pigmented inks that will not wash away when you put a highlighter or a watercolor over it. And I won't get too into the inks, but I would get the carbon ink cartridges for the Preppy. I think they're awesome. They're not a mess, but my favorite brand is J Urban. I'm not going to get into all these because that's not what this video is about. Forgot to mention, these Midliners are pretty cool. You can get them on Amazon, Zebra Midliner. It's got a flat top and a little fine point, and they're solid. I love the gray one. I also use an Apple Watch, and I've just dumbed this thing down. I don't get any notifications on this thing, and this is my watch face. I love this watch face because I don't have my always on display, and when it's down, it still shows this, but I think when it's up, then it shows, like it fills in the color or whatever, but like you could still read the time and the watch is down. It's a great tool if I want to add a task, a reminder, or a note, or message someone really quick. I can do that through this and not have to pick up my phone. So this is one way to be able to be productive without getting distracted on your phone. And yeah, no notifications on this thing. And I also track my sleep with it, which has been great. And I use the Bevel app, which is free, to get a lot of great data about your health. It's also great for setting timers, stopwatches, alarms for focus sessions, so you don't have to pull your phone out. Another thing that has really helped my journaling and planning and being productive is my new iPod that I just got, and I love this thing. And you just load it up with some of your favorite focus tracks. I don't consider this my dedicated listening device. I just use this for like focus sessions when I just want to get away from my phone. But I think just because I got it recently, I am using it like all the time. But it's great. Like I hardly pick up my phone, and you can just, if I want some motivation, I have what will your verse be? I don't know if you could see that. So it's cool, man. I love this thing. You could just load it up with things that you feel will help you to be your best productivity-wise. So I just love this thing. You can fill it up with movies, motivational videos, classic musical live sessions that you always go back to, but simply also just your favorite focus tracks. Some of my favorite focus track YouTubes out there are Ambient Outpost. I do love just feeling like I'm in some like lonely outpost, and I just hear like the radar and raindrops and random howls in the background of wolves. I do have some focus tracks, some focus mixes as well. Jacob in the Stone is one of my favorites. Ambient playlist, Cowboy Bebop, 2 a.m. Anything that says listen to this at 4 a.m. is like a sure listen for me. And I also love Universal Ambience. They do a great job. The Vatican is my favorite one. When having quiet times, you can hear like people coughing in the background, just sick. And then another great one is Mount Ararat, and that's awesome because you get a campfire, you get some like dawn crickets. It's amazing. So I like choosing these for the different settings that I'm in. Like if it's a nighttime one, then I'll use Mount Ararat. If it's in the morning, I like Canaan. I like Celtic Sea or Celtic Sea, not sure. Earl's is sick too. That's a new one that I just discovered. And some Blizzard, Diablo 2 soundtrack, Tristram. If you don't know about those, you get to know about them. So yeah, that's sick. I also have to say, It's not really part of journaling or planning, but a Kindle has been really awesome for my just focus and productivity, just getting away from my phone more. This has been great. And if I read an article on Substack and I want to read it later, I just share it to Kindle and it sends it straight to this Kindle. So this has been awesome. Shout out to my wife who got me this for Christmas. It's been amazing. And then lastly, I do recommend getting some noise canceling headphones, active noise canceling headphones. These really help you to totally zone in and just have a focus session. I usually tell my wife like, hey, I'm about to lock in. Do you need anything from me? And then I just pop them on. So I have the Sony XM4s. I got these like at some random store in India, and they were super cheap, and they're not knockoff, they're legit, and they've served me so well over the months. So I love these. You can also plug in aux cord, which has been great, and it doesn't use any of the battery. So these are great with my iPod as well. So how do I use digital tools within this hybrid system? Anything that is an interchangeable list or a running list that I just add on to, that goes digital, because I don't like having a dedicated page in my journal that I got to flip back to and fill up, because then what if it fills up and then where do I put the second page since I've already filled it up to that point in my planning or whatever. So it's just, I didn't like it. My organizational mind was like getting the best of me. So I just decided anything that's a running list, I'm just gonna put it in my list. And you could use Apple Notes and just have a note that says ideas and just add your ideas to it. There's tons of shortcuts you can create that you can just quick hit a button and it pops open the prompt. You just type in the idea and it adds right to it. That's why I love digital, because you have those shortcuts to just have this like quick access, because that's what you want, frictionless. You don't want to go in Notion, wait till it loads and find and click around, 5 clicks, the idea is gone by that point. So that's why I like Apple Notes, because it's quick and fast. But I also do use Craft Docs for when it's not like something like a fast idea, or I'm just building out like a doc or like kind of more of a broad running list. I might go into Craft Docs more. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll do that. But that's a hefty challenge, because there's so much that Craft can do, but at the same time it's so simple. So that's what's beautiful about Craft. So running lists are like prayer requests, content ideas, article ideas, or sermon ideas, mind dumping that I'm just, getting things off my mind and organizing it later. I usually will put those in Apple Reminders, Apple Notes, or Craft Docs. And typically it's Apple Reminders. I just have an inbox in Apple Reminders and I just put it all there and I just sort it later. I just kind of check it every couple days and just see what I need to organize, delete, or get rid of. Now for planning, I just use Apple Calendars and Apple Reminders, because I just feel like it's the simplest and most reliable. Like if I need an urgent notification to be sent to me, or to now, Apple Reminders has urgent reminders. So it literally sets off like an alarm on your phone that you have to snooze or slide to cancel. So that's really amazing. If I really can't forget something, there's nothing better that reminds me than Apple Reminders. So I use that for like, I need to get this done in 5 days. I need to get this done in 2 days. And I use Apple Calendars, especially because I share my calendar with Crystal and we can see each other's calendars throughout the week. And I can set notifications, I can set addresses, I can invite people. I just think that Apple Calendars is just easy, it's fluid, it doesn't need to look pretty, it just needs to be in there, it needs to alert me when I need to be alerted, and I need to get there and do the rest, I guess. So after trying every system, bouncing from Notion to paper, back to Craft, back to journal, and all these things, I've just simplified my journal, I've simplified my planning, my pocketbook, and it works and I love it. I really feel like the daily driver of the pocketbook really helps me to also keep things very simple and bare bones. And I think just writing it down really helps me to remember and to be intentional about what I'm doing. So I hope that helps you, and I hope you figure out your system as well as you go into 2026, trying to be more productive, go after your goals, and just hit me up if you have any questions or need any advice about pens, tech, journals, whatever. I've done my fair share of research. It's taken a while to get to this point, but I feel like we're on a good hill right now. So, see you later.